The Kansas City Chiefs had just pulled off one of the most incredible comebacks in recent football history. Arrowhead Stadium roared with electric energy as confetti rained down on the field. Patrick Mahomes, sweat glistening on his face, raised his helmet in triumph. He was already a legend, but tonight had cemented it. An improbable victory in double overtime against the top-ranked rival. The locker room was filled with the raucous sounds of victory. Teammates shouting, reporters clamoring for interviews, and the metallic clink of champagne bottles being opened. Mahomes sat on the bench, unwrapping the tape from his wrists, when a sudden shift in the atmosphere caught his attention. A hush rippled through the room as security cleared a path toward the center of the celebration. There, standing with his unmistakable shock of blonde hair and signature suit, was former President Donald J. Trump. His presence was both surreal and electrifying. Even those who might not have agreed with his politics couldn't deny the gravity of the moment. Patrick, Trump boomed, his voice cutting through the stunned silence. Incredible game. Just incredible. You're the best there is, believe me. Mahomes, always composed under pressure, stood up, extending his hand with a polite smile. Thank you, Mr. President. I appreciate that. Trump shook his hand firmly, then leaned in, lowering his voice just enough to spark curiosity among those nearby. Let's talk somewhere private, he suggested. I've got a once-in-a-lifetime offer for you, and trust me, this is going to change everything. Mahomes hesitated. His teammates exchanged bewildered glances. What could possibly be so urgent that Trump would show up here, of all places, on this night? Sure, Mahomes said, gesturing toward a quieter corner near the coach's office. As they walked away, whispers filled the room like wildfire. Reporters strained to hear snippets of conversation, while security agents closed ranks around the unlikely duo. What could Trump possibly want from the Chiefs' superstar quarterback? The answer would shake not only the world of sports, but ripple across the nation itself. Part 2. The offer nobody expected. Behind the frosted glass door of the coach's office, the atmosphere was thick with tension. Trump paced the room like a man with a world-changing deal in his pocket. Mahomes leaned against the desk, still in partial gear, his cleats clacking lightly against the tiled floor. Trump stopped pacing, fixing Mahomes with that famous steely gaze. Look, Patrick, he began, I know you're a football genius. What you've done tonight? Tremendous. But I'm here with a bigger vision. Way bigger than football. Mahomes raised an eyebrow. Bigger than football? That's bold, sir. Trump nodded solemnly. You're young, charismatic, and respected by millions. America needs new heroes, not just on the field, but in the boardroom, in politics, even internationally. I've been watching you. You've got what it takes to be the face of something extraordinary. Mahomes laughed, a bit incredulous. You're suggesting what, run for office? Sir, I throw footballs for a living. Trump waved dismissively. Football's just the beginning. Picture this. Patrick Mahomes, the leader of a revolutionary global sports initiative. You'd be a key figure in a new league that's bigger than the NFL. We're talking international reach, new rules, high stakes. No more commissioners holding things back. You'd co-own it. And your first paycheck? Let's just say it'll make tonight's bonus look like pocket change. Mahomes was stunned. He'd expected handshakes and photo ops, not a pitch for some secretive international sports venture. His instinct was to laugh it off, but Trump's intensity made it impossible to dismiss outright. You're serious, Mahomes said quietly. Dead serious, Trump confirmed. I've got investors lined up from Saudi Arabia, Europe, and even China. But I need someone with star power, integrity, and a winning reputation to sell this to the world. Mahomes rubbed his temples, trying to process what sounded like a fever dream. And why me? Why not someone retired, someone with time on their hands? Trump smirked. Because you're in your prime, and people love you. Plus, you've got that comeback spirit. America loves a comeback story, believe me. Mahomes' mind raced. Was this a golden opportunity or a disaster waiting to happen? He'd spent his life perfecting his game, not preparing for corporate power plays with global magnates and former presidents. Still, there was a glimmer of intrigue. "What's the catch?" he asked, his voice steady. Trump's expression grew darker. "Let's just say there are powerful people who don't want this to happen. They'll come after you, after me, after everyone involved. But you're not the kind of guy to back down from a challenge, are you?" Mahomes' heart raced, not from the game, but from the weight of the decision looming over him. "I need time to think," he finally said. "Not too much time," Trump warned. "The world moves fast, and this train's about to leave the station." As Mahomes opened the door to rejoin the celebration, he couldn't shake the feeling that his life had just taken a sharp, unexpected turn. What had he just stepped into? Part 3. Whispers of Danger. The locker room had returned to its boisterous celebration, but Mahomes couldn't hear it. Trump's words echoed in his mind. "Powerful people don't want this to happen. They'll come after you." As he rejoined his teammates, Travis Kelce slapped him on the back. "Bro, you look like you just saw a ghost." What did he want? Your autograph? Mahomes forced a smile. "Something like that." Kelce laughed, oblivious. "Man, I bet he's recruiting you for one of his golf courses or something." "Forget it. This night's about us." But Mahomes couldn't forget it. Even as the champagne flowed and victory speeches were made, a chill lingered in his gut. What kind of deal had Trump just put on the table? And why had it come with a veiled threat? As the night wound down and players filtered out, Mahomes grabbed his duffel bag and headed toward the private exit. The hallway was quiet, lined only by shadows and the faint hum of stadium lights. That's when he noticed them. Two men in dark suits, standing too casually near the exit. Their sharp eyes tracked his every move. Secret Service? Number. These men had a different vibe. Colder, more calculating. Mahomes slowed his pace, instincts honed from years of reading defenses kicking in. He adjusted his grip on the duffel, ready for anything. "Mr. Mahomes," one of the men said smoothly as he stepped forward. His voice was polished but carried a sinister undertone. "A word, if you don't mind." "I'm good, thanks," Mahomes said, his tone firm as he kept walking. The man's smile didn't waver. "It's important. About your recent conversation." Mahomes froze. His heart thudded in his chest. How did they know already? "I don't know what you're talking about," he said, masking his unease. The man's eyes gleamed. "Sure you do. Let's just say some very influential people would prefer you stick to football. Got it?" Mahomes clenched his jaw. "Is that a threat? Just friendly advice." The man's smile widened. "Enjoy your victory, champ. But remember, some games aren't meant to be played." The men turned and walked away, their footsteps echoing down the corridor. Mahomes stood there, adrenaline coursing through him. This wasn't just about a sports deal. He was being dragged into something far more dangerous, a game with stakes higher than anything he'd ever faced on the field. And quitting wasn't in his nature. Part 4. The first hit Mahomes couldn't sleep that night. He sat on his balcony, staring out at the Kansas City skyline, his mind a whirlwind of thoughts. Trump's offer was wild enough, but the encounter with those shadowy men made it clear. There were forces at play far beyond anything he'd ever imagined. The next morning, he decided to take control. If people thought they could intimidate him, they were in for a surprise. Mahomes grabbed his phone and dialed a private number Trump had given him. The former president answered on the first ring. "Patrick, I was wondering when you'd call. Big night, huh?" "Yeah," Mahomes said grimly. "We need to talk. In person." Trump's tone grew serious. "I thought you might say that. My plane's fueled up. Be at the private airstrip in 2 hours." Mahomes hung up, threw on a hoodie, and headed to his car. His instincts told him he was being watched, but he didn't care. He had questions, and Trump was the only one with answers. 2 hours later, the jet's cabin was luxurious, with gold accents and plush leather seats. Trump sat at the head of the table, nursing a Diet Coke. "Welcome aboard, champ," he said with a grin. Mahomes didn't waste time. "Who were those guys at the stadium?" Trump's expression darkened. "Ah, you've met the traditionalists. Let's just say they're part of the old guard who don't like disruption. And what we're about to do? It's the biggest disruption sports has ever seen." "Why me?" Mahomes asked bluntly. "Because you're not just a great player. You're the face of integrity and resilience." People trust you, and trust is the one thing money can't buy. Trump leaned forward. But these people will stop at nothing to protect their interests. If you're in, you're going to need security, strategy, and guts. Mahomes took a deep breath. I'm not backing down, but I need to know everything. Trump nodded approvingly. I like that attitude. All right, I'll lay it out for you. Before he could finish, the jet lurched violently. Alarms blared and oxygen masks dropped from the ceiling. What the hell? Mahomes shouted, gripping the armrest. The pilot's voice crackled over the intercom. We're under attack. I've lost control of the left engine. Mahomes' heart raced as he saw a flash of light through the window. A drone circling the jet, armed and hostile. Trump's face was set with grim determination. Looks like the game's already started. Mahomes unbuckled himself. What do we do? Trump smirked despite the chaos. Hope you're as good in the air as you are on the field, because we're about to improvise. As the jet spiraled downward, Mahomes knew one thing for sure. This was no longer just about football. Part 5. Descent into Chaos. The jet plummeted through the sky, alarms blaring. Mahomes gripped the armrest, his knuckles turning white. Outside the window, the armed drone circled menacingly, its sleek frame shimmering under the sunlight. Trump's voice cut through the chaos. Patrick, ever play Flight Simulator? Not unless Madden counts, Mahomes shot back. Then buckle up, because I've got a hell of a plan, Trump said, moving with surprising agility for his age. He grabbed the intercom. Pilot, I want evasive maneuvers. Take us toward that canyon. The pilot's response was terse. We won't make it if that drone gets another shot off. Mahomes' heart raced as the jet tilted sharply. The drone fired a burst of glowing projectiles, narrowly missing the wing. The plane's frame rattled violently. Give me something I can do, Mahomes demanded. Trump pointed toward the emergency override panel near the cockpit door. Manual countermeasures. Think fast, like you do on the field. Mahomes sprinted forward, adrenaline pumping through his veins. He yanked open the panel, revealing a row of switches and a small joystick labeled Chaff Release. Got it, he yelled back. On my mark, hit the chaff, and pray it scrambles that drone's targeting system, Trump barked. Mahomes gritted his teeth, his quarterback instincts kicking in. Timing was everything. The drone locked on again, preparing to fire. Now, Patrick, Trump shouted. Mahomes slammed the switch, sending a burst of metallic debris into the air. The chaff glittered like shards of silver, confusing the drone's sensors. Its targeting systems wavered, and it veered off course. Yes! Mahomes roared as the jet leveled out, the canyon walls rushing up on either side. Trump clapped him on the back. Hell of a play, champ. You just saved our bacon. The pilot's voice crackled again. We're clear, for now. Preparing for emergency landing. As the jet touched down on a rugged makeshift airstrip, Mahomes exhaled deeply, his pulse still racing. Trump stood tall, brushing dust from his suit. Welcome to the real game, Patrick. That was just the opening quarter. Mahomes shook his head in disbelief. You call that the opening quarter? What's next, nuclear football? Trump's expression hardened. Actually, that's not far off. The stakes are bigger than you think. Before Mahomes could respond, black SUVs roared onto the airstrip, dust kicking up around them. A group of armed agents in tactical gear emerged. Their leader, a fierce-looking woman with sharp eyes, approached. Glad you made it, Mr. President, she said briskly. Her gaze shifted to Mahomes. And you must be the MVP who just made history. Welcome to the deep end. Mahomes rubbed the back of his neck. What the hell did I just sign up for? The woman smirked. Survival and revolution. Part 6. Beneath the surface. The SUV ride was tense. Mahomes sat in the back seat, his thoughts racing as the convoy sped down a desolate desert highway. Beside him, Trump was uncharacteristically quiet, his face set with determination. The fierce-looking woman who had met them at the airstrip sat in the front, speaking rapidly into a secure comm device. Mahomes broke the silence. So, are you going to tell me what's really going on? Or do I just keep dodging drones until I figure it out? Trump glanced at him, his expression unreadable. You're in the middle of a war, Patrick. And it's not just about sports, it's about control. Control of media, entertainment, and the hearts and minds of billions. Sports is just the front line. The woman turned around, her voice crisp. I'm Agent Harper, Homeland Security. What Mr. Trump is talking about is an international cabal that controls global sports and media. They profit off corruption, influence governments, and suppress innovation. Trump's initiative threatens their monopoly. Mahomes blinked. You're telling me this is bigger than football? What, like some shadowy Illuminati stuff? Harper's lips curled into a grim smile. Something like that, and you just became their newest target. Mahomes leaned back, trying to process it all. And this sports league you're pitching, it's supposed to fix all that? Trump leaned forward, his eyes gleaming. Exactly. No more backroom deals, no more shady commissioners playing politics. Pure competition. It's going to be tremendous. But these people, they'll do anything to stop it. You saw what happened up there. Mahomes shook his head. I'm just a quarterback. I didn't sign up to be some revolutionary. But you're here now, Harper said firmly, and they know you're involved. That means you have two choices. Hide and hope they forget about you, or fight back. The SUV slowed as the convoy approached a fortified compound hidden in the desert. High-tech defenses lined the perimeter, and armed guards patrolled the area. What is this place? Mahomes asked. Trump grinned. Our command center? State-of-the-art. I had it built for situations just like this. The convoy rolled through the gates, and Mahomes couldn't help but marvel at the scale of the operation. Inside, rows of analysts monitored screens, tracking global media and surveillance feeds. As they entered the central briefing room, Harper handed Mahomes a sleek tablet. Here's what you're up against, she said, pulling up dossiers on powerful media moguls, corrupt sports executives, and even political leaders. Mahomes scanned the information, his jaw tightening. This is insane. Trump clapped him on the shoulder. You've faced tougher defenses on the field, kid. Trust me, you've got this. Before Mahomes could respond, alarms blared throughout the compound. Red lights flashed and a voice crackled over the intercom. Perimeter breach. Hostiles incoming. Mahomes' eyes widened. Seriously? Again? Harper grabbed a weapon from the wall. Welcome to the deep end, Mahomes. Hope your reflexes are as good off the field as they are on it. Mahomes clenched his fists, adrenaline surging. Guess I don't have a choice now, do I? Trump smirked. That's the spirit. Let's win this thing. The compound erupted into chaos. Tactical teams sprinted to defensive positions as the blaring alarms vibrated through the concrete walls. Mahomes followed Agent Harper and Trump down a narrow hallway toward the command center. How did they find us? Mahomes asked, his breath quickening. They always find a way, Harper said grimly, her eyes scanning the area for threats. But they're not getting in without a fight. Mahomes couldn't believe he was living through this. Less than 24 hours ago, he'd been celebrating one of the greatest victories of his career. Now, he was caught in a shadow war between a former president and a global conspiracy. The blast of an explosion rocked the compound, sending dust and debris raining from the ceiling. The lights flickered, but the emergency power kicked in. Trump steadied himself against the wall. That's not a drone this time. Ground assault. Harper spoke into her comm device. Seal the eastern wing and deploy automated defenses. We need reinforcements at Gate 3. They reached the command center, where massive screens displayed surveillance feeds from around the compound. Armored vehicles and black-clad mercenaries advanced through the desert, weapons blazing. Mahomes' instincts kicked in. What's the play here? We can't just sit and watch. Trump pointed to a tactical map on the central screen. You see that narrow pass leading to the main gate? It's a bottleneck, perfect for a counterattack. Harper nodded. We can funnel them into a kill zone, but we'll need someone to manually activate the defense grid from the field. Mahomes blinked. Wait, are you asking me to do it? Harper smirked. You're fast, agile, and think on your feet. Sounds like the perfect candidate. Mahomes let out a sharp breath. Guess I'm playing a different kind of game today. Harper tossed him a tactical vest. Welcome to the team. Mahomes sprinted across the compound, ducking behind barriers as bullets whizzed past him. The roar of gunfire and the thud of explosions filled the air. He spotted the control panel for the defense grid up ahead, but a squad of mercenaries blocked the path. No problem, he muttered to himself. Just gotta read the defense. Drawing on his training, Mahomes juked left, then right, dodging incoming fire with the same precision he used to evade linebackers. He vaulted over a barricade, sliding into cover near the control panel. His fingers flew across the controls, activating automated turrets and electrified barriers. The compound's defenses roared to life, cutting down the advancing mercenaries. Through the smoke and chaos, Harper's voice crackled in his earpiece. "You did it, Mahomes! The defenses are holding!" Mahomes grinned, adrenaline pumping through his veins. "That's what I do. Deliver under pressure." Suddenly, a figure emerged from the smoke, a tall, masked operative with a deadly aura. He moved with precision, disarming two guards with lightning-fast strikes. Mahomes tensed as the figure advanced toward him, a gleaming combat knife in hand. "You must be the quarterback," the operative said in a cold, mechanical voice. "Impressive moves. But this is where your game ends." Mahomes' jaw clenched. "We'll see about that."
Write in the comments if you are ready for the final.